Justin has requested me on Patreon to review the classic western Stagecoach. Directed by John Ford, this is one of my favorite westerns, successfully establishing and developing several characters as they travel through the West on a stagecoach. What's interesting is that, for a good chunk of it, we don't get a lot of the shootouts associated with the western. The film is primarily focused on putting these very different people together in this situation and seeing how they bounce off each other. It's particularly impressive how each one individually stands out, thus creating the needed investment in their journey. Stagecoach is primarily known as the movie that turned John Wayne into a big star. He had been in several westerns before, but they were mainly cheap B-movies often produced by the less prestigious studios. John Ford even founded a challenge to get major studios and top producers like David Selznick interested in Stagecoach because of his insistence on casting Wayne. So this was an independent production made for about $500,000. From the second Wayne appears on screen as the Ringo Kid, he immediately makes an impression and brings the needed rugged charm to the role. Packing everyone onto the stagecoach and then later a rest station allowed the opportunity to see the interactions between them. A central plot point involves the treatment of Dallas, a prostitute played by Claire Trevor. There's an instant sympathy for her. She's run out of town, and we see how she's discriminated against by others, except Ringo. The film shows the contrast between how she's treated versus Lucy, a pregnant woman trying to get to her husband. We know she'll eventually warm up to Dallas, but getting to that point does feel like a natural progression. There's also Hatfield, a gambler who presents himself as a gentleman, but it also has multiple sides to him, and John Carradine plays that aspect very well. Even the comic relief bring a lot to the table. Andy Devine, who's probably nowadays most known for voicing Friar Tuck in Disney's Robin Hood, plays the stagecoach driver, and gets some humorous interactions with the marshal who tags along beside him on the trip. The standout of the cast is Thomas Mitchell, the alcoholic doctor always looking for a drink or two. He gets a lot of funny moments, especially with Donald Meek as a whiskey salesman, but he also brings a lot of dimension to the role and does not overdo his drunken state too much. Someone playing drunk always runs the risk of digging the joke into the ground and getting tiresome. You need to balance the tipsy side of the character, and Mitchell absolutely nailed it. And when he has to sober up and perform his duties, you see Doc Boone rising to the occasion. Mitchell had quite the year in 1939, as he not only played this role in Stagecoach, but was also Scarlett O'Hara's father in Gone with the Wind, and a journalist who eventually befriends the title character in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Of course, most people know him for playing Uncle Billy in It's a Wonderful Life. He's one of those classic character actors who's often great to see whenever he pops up in something. He would win the Best Supporting Actor Oscar for his performance in Stagecoach, and understandably so. Because of the time spent getting to know these characters and their situation, it makes the action sequences work even better when they do happen. John Ford directs those scenes with a proper level of excitement with some terrific stunt work. The big action scene in the third act is a highlight of the movie, making great use of the stagecoach as it charges through. The proper stakes are also there, as is an uncertainty of who will survive this ordeal. Although I do admit, when watching movies with extensive stunt work on horses before they were seriously regulated, it's difficult not to think about their treatment as they fall and do other dangerous things. While the scene provides the exciting high point of Stagecoach, the story remains interesting afterwards as the character arcs conclude, particularly Ringo's. One does grow to care about many of them by the end of the movie, and the growth and development they go through is earned. Of course, being a western filmed in or near Monument Valley, there is some fantastic scenery. I also have to compliment the film for the way it cuts between the stagecoach passengers, making sure we understand where everyone is sitting, even when they're off camera. The whole movie is excellently paced through its 96 minutes, with each scene serving an important purpose in introducing and progressing the characters. If you're someone who wants to get into classic westerns and gain an understanding of why the genre was so popular with audiences back in the day, Stagecoach is a perfect starting point. John Ford understood westerns needed more than just shootouts and gunfights. You needed to give the audience people worth investing in who face genuine problems and are just trying to survive in those wild times. And Stagecoach gives us plenty of that. Now, if you've seen the movie, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for the request, Justin.